So there's this guy, right? Ryuto Kageyama, 28 years old, working as a corporate drone at some tech startup in Seattle. Regular dude, you'd think. Brown hair always perfectly styled. Designer glasses he didn't need, but wore anyway because they made him look sophisticated. The kind of guy who ordered oat milk lattes and actually knew the difference between various coffee beans. But here's the thing about Ryuto: beneath that buttoned-up exterior was a man who made a promise. A blood oath, actually. Yeah, you heard that right. 5 years ago, when he was fresh out of college and broke as hell, Ryuto met this woman in an underground poker game in Portland. Her name was Madame Sarah, and no, that wasn't her real name, but that's what everyone called her. She was older, maybe 50-something, with eyes that looked like they could see straight into your soul and pull out every dirty secret you'd ever kept. Ryuto had gambled away his last $3,000 that night. He was desperate, stupid, and about to lose his apartment. That's when Sarah made him an offer. "I'll give you $50,000, she said, smoke curling from her cigarette. "But in exactly 5 years, you'll marry the woman I choose for you, no questions asked." Now, any sane person would have laughed in her face, but Ryuto, he was desperate. He took the money, signed some weird contract that looked like it belonged in a horror movie, and convinced himself it was all just some elaborate joke. Spoiler alert, it wasn't a joke. Fast forward to present day, Ryuto had built a decent life. That $50,000, he'd invested it, paid off his debts, and actually made something of himself. He'd almost forgotten about the whole thing, chalked it up to a fever dream from his broken days. Then he met Harper. Harper Chen was everything Ryuto didn't know he needed. She worked at the coffee shop below his apartment, the one with the exposed brick walls and overpriced pastries. First time he saw her, she was arguing with a customer about the difference between a macchiato and a latte, and she didn't back down even when the guy got loud. That's what got him that fire. They started dating 3 months before the 5-year deadline, and man, it was intense. The kind of connection where you finish each other's sentences, where just being in the same room feels electric. Harper was smart, funny, called him out on his BS, and had this way of looking at him that made him feel like he was the only person in the world. He was planning to propose, had the ring picked out and everything, a simple platinum band with a small emerald, because she hated diamonds, said they were basic and overrated. Then the letter came, black envelope, red wax seal, the kind of dramatic stuff you only see in movies. Inside was a single card with an address and a date exactly 5 years from the day he made that deal. "Your debt comes due. Come alone, or everyone you love will pay the price." As Ryuto's hands shook as he read it, reality hit him like a freight train. This was real. This was actually happening. He didn't tell Harper. How could he? "Hey babe, so funny story, I sold my romantic future to a mysterious woman for cash 5 years ago, and now I have to marry a complete stranger, or something terrible will happen." Yeah, that'd go over well. Instead, he started pulling away, canceling dates, working late, being distant. Harper noticed, obviously. They had this massive fight in her apartment where she literally threw a coffee mug at the wall, missed his head by inches, and screamed, "Just tell me the truth. Are you cheating on me?" "No," he said, and that was true. I need some space." Harper's laugh was bitter. "That's the oldest line in the book, Ryu. If you want out, at least have the balls to say it." He almost told her everything right then. Almost. But then he remembered the threat in Sarah's letter, "Everyone you love will pay the price," and he kept his mouth shut. The night before the deadline, Ryuto sat in his apartment with a bottle of whiskey, trying to figure out his next move. He could run, pack a bag, hop on a plane, disappear. But where would that leave Harper? His mom? His little sister? Or he could go through with it, marry whoever Sarah had picked out, let Harper think he was just another asshole who got cold feet. Neither option felt like living. The address led him to this mansion on the outskirts of the city. Old money kind of place, all stone walls and iron gates. Ryuto pulled up in his beat-up Honda Civic, feeling wildly out of place. Sarah was waiting in the foyer, looking exactly the same as she had 5 years ago. Not a single new wrinkle, not a single gray hair. It was unsettling. "Ryuto," she smiled. "Right on time. Let's just get this over with," he said. "Who is she?" Sarah's smile widened, eager. "Are we?" "Very well. Follow me." She led him through the mansion, down hallways lined with portraits of people who all had the same unsettling smile. They ended up in this massive ballroom where a woman stood with her back to them, looking out floor-to-ceiling windows. "May I present," Sarah announced. "Your bride-to-be." The woman turned around. Ryuto's blood went cold. It was Harper. "Surprise," Harper said, but there was no warmth in her voice, no recognition in her eyes. She looked at him like he was a stranger. What is this?" Ryuto stumbled backward. "Harper, what are you?" "Oh, she doesn't know you," Sarah interrupted. "Not yet, anyway. You see, Harper here made her own deal with me 2 years ago. Wasn't it, dear?" Harper nodded, her expression blank. "I needed money for my mother's surgery. Madame Sarah offered me $200,000 in exchange for agreeing to an arranged marriage. I accepted, but Ryuto's mind was racing. We met by chance at the coffee shop. That was real, wasn't it?" Sarah laughed, the sound echoing through the empty ballroom. "Was it? Or did I simply arrange for Harper to work at that particular coffee shop? For you to develop your little morning routine there? For your paths to cross at exactly the right moment? You orchestrated everything." Ryuto felt sick. "Everything," Sarah confirmed. "I wanted to see what would happen if the people destined to marry through my contracts fell in love naturally without knowing their fate was already sealed. A little experiment, if you will." Harper's composure finally cracked. "Wait, you're saying we were supposed to end up together anyway?" "Indeed. And you did fall in love, didn't you? The chemistry was real. The connection was real. The only thing that wasn't real was your freedom to choose." That's when Ryuto snapped. All the fear, all the confusion, it crystallized into pure rage. "You know what?" he said, stepping toward Sarah. "Screw your contract. Screw your games. I'm not playing anymore." "Oh, but you signed." "I don't care what I signed. You can't force people to get married. This isn't the Middle Ages. Whatever power you think you have, it ends here." Sarah's smile faltered for the first time. "You would risk everything? Your family, Yeah, I would. Because Harper and I." He turned to her, and for the first time since entering the mansion, he saw recognition flash in her eyes. The real Harper, breaking through whatever manipulation Sarah had put her under. "What we have is real, and I'm not gonna let some puppet master take that away." Harper blinked, like she was waking up from a dream. "Ryu, I'm here," he said. "I'm right here." That's when things got weird. Sarah's face contorted with anger, and the room started to shake. Portraits fell from walls. Candles flickered out. It was like something out of a supernatural thriller. "You dare defy me?" Sarah's voice had changed, deeper, echoing. "No one breaks my contracts." But Ryuto stood his ground, and Harper moved to stand beside him, taking his hand. "Watch us," Harper said. The shaking intensified, and then, nothing. The room was still. Sarah was gone, just vanished. The mansion around them started to fade, like a mirage dissolving in heat. Ryuto and Harper found themselves standing on an empty street corner in downtown Seattle. Same city, same night, but the mansion was gone, like it had never existed. "Did that just—" Harper started. "Yeah," Ryuto finished. "I think it did." They stood there in silence for a moment, hands still clasped, trying to process what had happened. "So," Harper finally said, "you sold your romantic future for 50 grand. In my defense, I was broke and stupid. And you didn't think to tell me any of this? Would you have believed me?" Harper considered this. "Probably not." She paused. "I sold mine for 200 grand though, so I definitely got a better deal." Despite everything, Ryuto laughed. Actually laughed. "This is insane." "Completely," Harper agreed. Then she turned to face him fully. "But here's the thing, Kageyama. I fell for you before I knew about any of this destiny crap. In that coffee shop, when you ordered that ridiculously complicated drink and then tipped 50% because you felt bad about making me work so hard, that's when I knew. When I found out your favorite book was East of Eden and you cried during the ending, that's when I knew," Ryuto said. "So what do we do now?" Harper asked. Ryuto pulled the engagement ring from his pocket. He'd been carrying it all night, just in case. "How about we make our own destiny?" Harper's eyes went wide. "Are you seriously proposing right now? After all that?" "Yeah, I am. Because screw fate, screw contracts, screw mysterious women with supernatural powers. One choose you, not because some deal says I have to, but because I want to. So, Harper Chen, will you?" "Oh my God, yes, you absolute idiot," Harper interrupted, laughing and crying at the same time. "Yes, I'll marry you. That should have been the end of the story, right? Happy couple defeats evil force, gets engaged, rides off into the sunset. Classic romance. But here's where it gets really messed up." 3 weeks later, Ryuto was cleaning out his apartment, packing up to move in with Harper. He found an old box in the back of his closet, one he didn't remember putting there. Inside was a letter from his grandmother. His grandmother, who died when he was 10 years old. The letter was dated 1 week before her death, but addressed to him, to the adult him. Specifically, the envelope said, "Open on your 20th birthday, after you meet the woman with the emerald eyes." Harper had green eyes, almost emerald in certain light, with shaking hands. Ryuto opened the letter. "Dear Ryuto, if you're reading this, then everything has gone according to plan. I'm sorry I had to deceive you, but it was the only way to break the curse. You see, our family has been bound to the Sira bloodline for 3 generations. My mother was forced to marry a man she didn't love. I was forced to marry your grandfather. The curse dictates that every Kageyama must enter a loveless arranged marriage, ensuring our family's wealth, but destroying our capacity for real happiness. The only way to break it was for a Kageyama to enter into Sira's contract willingly, fall in love despite the manipulation, and then choose that love over the contract's terms. By defying her, by choosing love when you knew the truth, you broke the cycle. Sira isn't gone, though. She can never truly be destroyed, but she has no more power over our family now. You freed us all. I used the last of my inheritance to pay Madame Sira to make this deal with you, the $50,000. That was my money. I arranged everything, even my own death, to look natural so that Sira wouldn't suspect the trap. Love was always your destiny, Ryuto, not the arranged marriage that was just a test. Be happy. Live the life I never could, with all my love." Grandmother Kageyama Ryuto had to sit down. His grandmother had orchestrated the entire thing, had sacrificed her own life to set up an elaborate scheme to free him, to free all of them from this curse he'd never even known existed. And Harper's deal? The letter explained that too. His grandmother had also paid Sira to approach Harper, knowing that if they both entered contracts, the love between them would be powerful enough to break the curse when they chose each other anyway. Every moment had been planned, and yet every feeling had been real. Ryuto never told Harper about the letter. Some secrets, he figured, were meant to stay buried. What mattered was that they were free now, free to build a life on their own terms. They got married 6 months later. Small ceremony, just close friends and family. Harper wore a simple dress. Ryuto couldn't stop crying during the vows. And his little sister got drunk and gave an embarrassing speech about his awkward teenage years. It was perfect. But here's the kicker, the real twist that'll mess with your head. On their wedding night, as they were leaving the reception, Ryuto saw someone standing in the shadows across the street. A woman in a black dress, watching them with ancient eyes. Sira. She didn't move, didn't speak, just smiled that same unsettling smile and held up a single finger. One. Then she vanished into the darkness. Ryuto's blood went cold because he understood what that meant. The curse was broken for him, sure, but Sira was still out there, still making deals, still playing her games. And that single finger, that was a promise, a warning. One day, we'll meet again. As Ryuto and Harper drove away toward their honeymoon, toward their future, he looked in the rearview mirror one last time. The street was empty, but he could have sworn he heard laughter on the wind. The game wasn't over. Not really. It had just entered a new phase. Because here's the truth, nobody wants to hear about love and destiny. Even when you win, even when you choose your own path, there's always something lurking in the shadows. Some force, some person, some twist of fate waiting to test you again. Ryuto Kageyama escaped his romantic destiny. He chose love. He won. But at what cost? And when Sira came calling again, and she would, he knew she would he be ready? So that's the story. Wild, right? Makes you think about all the choices you make, all the deals you strike without realizing the fine print. Makes you wonder if your own love story is really yours, or if someone else has been pulling the strings all along. Sleep tight with that thought, and